use a subtraction or addition. Right? Often we'll find a value in one triangle. Okay, so we'll find a value in one triangle, then solve the other triangle. Okay? Only round final answers. Some of you are still having troubles with that. So if never, and the second part to that is never use a rounded answer in work. For example, if you're working along, blah, 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 and I say, what does B equal? And if you round that, then if you go B times C, you should make sure you don't, okay, you use the unrounded answer. So sure, I asked for it, and you have to round it, but I'd never, ever use it. Your answers will be wrong, right? If you use an approximation, that's what rounding is, an approximation, you won't get the right answer if you go and use that number. Okay, so use the correct number, everything. Okay, fill in the information on the triangle here. Go for it. Okay, so QS is 32. This is a small little line segment. Q is your vertex. That means it must be in the middle. So start at P, go to Q, and then go to S. So this angle is 50 degrees right there. Okay. So trace the angle on your pencil, following the letters, and you'll find what angle they're talking about. So then RPS, start at R, go up to P, go down to S. That's RPS. That would be 61 degrees. So trace the angles, and that'll make you put it in the right spot. So what they're saying is, what is QR? The entire line segment. So what we need to find, what do we need to find? We know what we got 32. So what do we have to find? X. In order to find X, we have 61, but maybe we need something else. What else would we need? Well, we probably need the side that they share. So we're probably going to need this dimension y. Now if we look in the triangle on the right, we have 50, 32, we can find y. So you're going to start in the triangle as two things. Okay? This would give you a hint. It's basically slapping you in the face and saying, start here. Okay? So only get slapped once. That's my advice for you today. Okay, so what I want you to do now is find y. Okay, label your HOA on the small triangle, label your HOA, and then find y. Okay, so there's HOA. So you'd use tangent. Don't clear that off your calculator, okay? So now you can work and find y. We're at 38.136. Okay. Now don't clear it. See how I kept on my calculator? You want to do the same thing. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to then work in the second triangle, label your HOA. Okay, so in the triangle on the left, label your HOA, keeping in mind y and x. Okay, we want to use y and x. So notice on your other triangle here, I have y, okay, which is the side I want to find in red. O is the HOA for the right triangle, and the green A is the HOA for the left triangle. So new angles, new HOAs. Okay, we've switched O and A there. Okay, so using tangent, find X. Okay, so I show my work. Now I'm smart because I didn't touch my calculator, but now I know what to do. So I can then, since I have that number in my calculator already, I can just go times tan 61. That's why you don't want to clear it out of your calculator. So keep all your decimals, every single one of them, and go times tan 61. And then press equals. And I get 68.799 degrees. Make sure you have your degrees symbol. Oh, it's not degrees, sorry. It's the side length. Okay. Now, what should I round to? Nearest millimeter? Yeah, so it should be 69. Okay. Because we're looking at millimeters as whole numbers. Add them up. What do you get? 101 millimeters. Put a box around it so it's easy to find. Okay. Here we go, number 2. So now what we want to do is find angle BEA. Please trace that angle so you know which one we're trying to find. B to E to A. That's both parts. Okay. So I'll give you a little hint here. What we're going to end up doing is probably finding this angle in red and this angle in blue, and then doing what? Adding them together. Okay. Good. How about we find the blue angle right away? Can we do that? Good. Go ahead and do that. Okay. So how would we call it angle X, just so that you have stuff to write down, okay? Find angle X. Label your HOA on the right triangle. Actually, you don't even need to, do you? What are you going to do to find X? 180 minus. Okay. So 180 minus 90 minus 39. That top angle is 51 degrees. Okay. Good. Any ideas, though, for finding the red Y? We'll call this one the Y. Any ideas for that? Yep. Just finding the side that they share. How would that help you? Yeah. Because you need two things in a triangle. If you have two things, you can find anything you want. So once we find this side that they share, you need to find EC. Once you've found that, then you can use these two sides to find the angle. Okay, because you have two sides on the triangle. So let's find EC right away, please. Okay, so use the right triangle again. Label your HOA. And find EC. Okay. O and H, you should be using sine. So 2.328. So don't get rid of that in your calculator. Okay. So 2.328. That's EC. Now what you can do is use that to find angle E. So label your HOA one more time to find angle Y. Sorry, I said E. Find angle Y. Okay. So you use the top triangle, the triangle on the left. You can call it Y. Now, if you have a new school calculator, you can go 2.328 divided by 4.6 equals. And then go cos -1 and press your A and S button. And then equals. Okay. So step 1 would be to divide to get the ratio. Step 2 would be find the inverse cos of the ratio, which is your answer. Okay. So if you have a new school calculator, if you have an old school calculator, it's even easier. You just can go divide by 4.6 equals and then inverse cos. I did something wrong here. Yeah, because I don't, that can't be. So 3.7. Now notice that when I made that calculator mistake, I go back to the beginning. I don't want to use the rounded answer. Okay. So now I have all my decimals. Now I feel like going forward, dividing by 4.6. Okay, and then going inverse cos. 59.58 degrees. Okay, and so now we want to add them up. So we're going to say angle BEA, that's what we're trying to find, BEA equals 51 degrees plus 58.58 degrees. Yep, so you should round it, but I don't like rounding to the very, very end. Yes, it was. 59. Good. Thank you. 59. Okay, so then plus 51. 110.5. Is that right? What should I round it to then? 111 degrees. Okay. Put a nice little box around it. That was a pretty challenging question, right? You had to do a lot of stuff there, a lot of thinking. Okay, that's what you're going to see with the work today. Okay, next one. This is a classic, the buildings questions. Okay, so we have two buildings 72 meters apart. Okay, so let's draw the two buildings. Draw one higher, one lower. Okay, good. They're 72 meters apart. Now what you want to do, the dimension on the ground, we're not dealing with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, so the distance between them on the ground is the same as the distance between them in the air. Okay, that's a key point. Those two distances are the same. Okay. Now it says from the roof of the shorter building, the angle of elevation to the top is 27 degrees. And the reason why I drew that distance between the buildings in the air is because this is where we're going to do all our work. Okay. This here is 27 degrees, angle of elevation. Okay. Now it says the angle of depression to the base is 34. So you're still on a small building, but you're looking down to the base of the big building, and that's 34 degrees. Notice how 34 degrees goes in between the horizon. Okay. The horizon and the line of sight. It does not go down below here in blue. That is completely incorrect. Okay, it does not go there in blue. That's a major mistake. Okay, you must put it in between the horizon and the line of sight. Okay. Good, so now you have to find the height of the taller building. This is an easier question. All you have to do is find x and find y. Go ahead, find x and y. Here will be 90 degrees where the horizon touches the building. Okay, so find x, find y, and what should you do at the end? Add them up. Go ahead, do that right now. Go. Okay, quick sentence. Tall building is 85 meters tall. Okay. Now, if you know how to use your memory button on your calculator, awesome. I'm not too good with this calculator, and I know you guys probably aren't. So what I did is I did this. Okay, I thought, the buildings are in whole number of meters, so my answer I want is probably in whole number of meters. Okay, now usually I'll say it around. So when I added, how many decimals did I keep in my first answer? 4. How many in the second? 4. So I'm going from 4 decimals down to none. I'm probably going to get a right answer. Okay? I'm not worried at all about my decimals then. If I kept 2, I'd be very concerned. 3, I'd be somewhat okay. 4, not worried at all. Right? Because it makes sense. You're going from 4 decimals down to none. You shouldn't have a problem. Okay, so if you don't know how to use your memory button in your calculator, keep lots of decimals if you have to do something like that. Okay? And notice how I wrote them down. I didn't round early. All right? Okay. How was that one? Not too bad, eh? Okay, turn it over. Another one. This is a classic. This is a lot more challenging. Okay, so we have 2 runners at A and B. Okay. Windows 80 meters above ground. So let's draw our triangle. And this is 80 meters. They share that. Okay, so the angle of depression is 28 and 24. So that's where you got to be careful. This is 80 meters. You can try and draw a ghost triangle if you want. Okay. You don't have to though. But what you have to keep in mind is that this is 24 degrees and the bigger angle, which is wider, is 28 degrees. So 24, let me do that in blue. 24 is just the top angle, and everything in red is 28. Okay. Bigger numbers will be bigger angles, so keep that in mind. Now the other thing to keep in mind is this idea. Okay, well, in this case it'll be this. These angles are the same because of parallel line rules that we haven't studied before. So if this is 24 up here, down below this would also be 24 degrees. This one here would be 28 degrees. Okay. So what we could do then is you could draw 2 separate triangles. Here's A, 80, 28 degrees. Here's B, 24 degrees, 80. Okay. What we want to do is basically find this distance here. Okay. In order to find that, you would subtract the bottom lengths. Okay. So if you have if you have B and you take away A, what's left over is the distance in between them. Okay, so that's what we're looking at doing, is doing a subtraction now. Now, see how much easier it is as soon as I draw the triangle separate? It's a good skill to use. Okay. Now, some people are good at this and can go, oh, I see 2 ghost triangles up top. Go ahead, good for you. Okay. Otherwise, don't bother. All right. Okay. Find let's call this X, and that should be in red. Let's find X, find Y, and then subtract. Go. When you do your subtraction, make sure it's your big minus your small, otherwise you'll get a negative measurement. And there's no such thing as a negative measurement. Okay, so runners are 29 meters apart. How many people got that? Good. I think that this is the hardest question in this section, to be honest with you. Okay. Any questions you guys have? But in your review, I think there's one about a deer and a cougar. My favorite one. Should the deer run? Okay. Anyways, find the distance between A and E. So again, this is the super hypotenuse. This was on your last unit test. Some of you got this, some of you did not. You're going to have to do Pythagoras twice. Okay? So what you want to do is figure out AC. And then you can have this other triangle. Okay? So figure out AC first. Then you can do the triangle in blue. So they share that one side AC. Now, one thing we like to do is make it a little more difficult. Root 30 is over here, but you can also put root 30 right there. Okay? So AC is shared. Find AC. Go. Do Pythagoras. Okay, once you find AC, then you can do Pythagoras again. And then you could find AE. Can you please simplify it? So this is your answer. Can't simplify it.